What has this pandemic ruined for you? My dad's funeral. I'm so sorry. My dad is currently dying of cancer at the hospital alone. No visitors allowed. My mom was kicked out of his room a week ago. It's agonizing that Hess alone. These are crazy times. Wow, reading this was an instant kick to the stomach. I feel so sad for your father and family. Yeah, I work at a hospital as security. It's easily been my worst experience here, having to tell family they can't go up to the hospice unit due to the coronavirus locking down my hospital. It's not even in my control. Administration sets the rules and policies and aren't messing around with them right now. Wondering if some hospitals can set up webcams with a screen or something to allow people to virtually visit with terminal patients. That's so sad to think they are locked away to die without their family. I was meant to be getting married in 5 weeks. Also, I work in aviation. My whole future has been turned upside down over the last few days. I'm in Australia BTW. It's shocking how fast things have gone to shit here. I hope you can hang in there with a sense of humor, mate. Just think of the stories y'all have for your grandkids. I sat down with my 7-year-old today and told her that this is something that will be in the history books in her future. She didn't give a shit, did she? TBF, Teresa, a lot of things in history books that most adults don't give a shit about. I was watching the local news and they interviewed a police officer and asked what has changed in the past few days. He said that with everyone stuck at home, domestic abuse has gone way up. Shit, man. Imagine being in an abusive relationship, and now you're locked in with that person 247 and you can't leave the house. That makes me very sad and I wish there was some way to help. Seeing as I have the virus, 25 meters. And have spent the last 2 days sweating, with a fever bouncing all over the place, and a throat that is in massive pain. I would say it ruined the past few days of mine. On the bright side, y'all soon have those sweet, sweet antibodies. My ignorant, unintelligent side sort of wishes I could just go ahead and get it so I can stop worrying about getting it. It'd feel like a superhero walking back in public spaces after it passed. Edit, for those taking me seriously, I have no plans to lick any toilet seats in the near future. No need to worry. My ignorant, unintelligent side sort of wishes I could just go ahead and get it so I can stop worrying about getting it. It'd feel like a superhero walking back in public spaces after it passed. I think that's normal. A lot of what's terrifying about this is the fear of the unknown. If you've had it and gotten over it, well, the unknown is slightly smaller now. The universe is expanding though. The unknown grows. Having loved ones in nursing homes that are closed to visitors. The rule is completely reasonable and necessary. Still, we miss each other. They feel isolated and lonely as they're not physically able to talk on the phone, hard of hearing, too, and have no one to spend time with them. My parents are sick and I can't go visit them. Mood friend. My father got a terminal diagnosis of 6 months, 2 years, about 3 weeks before it got really bad here. He lives in another country and when I'm gonna be able to visit him. I'm doing extra quarantine procedures to protect myself, but man, I dunno. We WhatsApp and FaceTime all the time, but it's not the same and I haven't seen him in almost a year. On top of everything, the NCAA tournament got cancelled, which is a big bonding thing for the two of us. I'm worried he won't get another one. Sucks. Made Olympic trials for the first time. Was super excited to go and compete. Now every single gym and pool on the planet is closed, and even if they weren't, the meet itself is postponed and likely to be cancelled. It's not the end of the world, but damn, it was really something for me to look forward to. Online dating meet after Corona? Corona and chill? Corona and chills and fever? Hey babe, I want to quarantine with you. Edit, I love how this has become a series of coronavirus pickup lines. Hey girl, a lot of people are making bad decisions during this crisis, and I was just hoping I could be yours. Hey baby, you're so hot your body's thermoregulation is temporarily messed up, and there's no way the coronavirus could operate effectively and enter into your cells to infect and breed inside the cell nucleus. You know vitamin D and exercise is important for a healthy immune system. Small businesses. These guys are going to be decimated. I'm a restaurant bartender in Florida. This was going to be a really busy spring break for us after a slow winter that got me behind on bills. They haven't told us to go to takeout only yet, but I feel like it's coming soon. Our neighbors get the bulk of their cash flow during spring break and it tides them over for the rest of the year. Spring break was just shut down, so they're scrambling. This pandemic is really showing just how close to being out on the street most Americans really are. Miss a small amount of work or an event like spring break that you depend on and it's disastrous. 40% of Americans can't afford an emergency $400 expense. Things are about to get really bad. It's crazy that we allowed that to become a normal aspect of our lives. I've been hearing that statistic for at least 10 years. I always thought it was sad, but never took a step back and thought about what the ramifications could be in a crisis. I work in software, and if some project we were working on was exposed to a similar level of risk, it would have triggered multiple meetings to discuss how we can restructure things to mitigate the issue. Getting some replies about how many families are just spending beyond their means, so they're not saving. I have a few responses to this. We're talking about 40% of Americans. 2 out of every 5 households. The lowest 25% of American families are living off $31K or less. I would imagine that most of the families in that lower quartile are in this category. So at the very least there is still a huge systemic income inequality that is contributing to the numbers. Even if it was 100% because of people spending outside their means, that wouldn't mean that we can't fix it or improve upon it. Especially since it puts the entire economy at risk, as we are seeing right now. Better financial education in public schools would be a good start. Respect for my boss. Has been peddling conspiracy theories and says that this is no big deal and people are overreacting. Nobody can work from home, even though most only need a computer with internet to do our jobs, and is refusing to implement any preventive measures. The kicker, he's the health and safety manager. At this point, is that still his decision? When the government is the one implementing the rule, doesn't matter what he believes, you have to stay home. Period. The area manager at my company is one of these asshats too. Making people physically come into an office that is literally in the same commercial complex as a Novant test site for COVID-19. He didn't respond to common sense, reasoning or any appeal to humanity. So I spoke his language in terms that he could understand. If I come to this office, get infected and take this virus home to my family, I will not only file a lawsuit against the company itself, but I will name you personally liable as the decision maker who was responsible for implementing this policy. The next day we were told to work from home indefinitely. Yes. You did amazing. I'm sure once this thing clears they will retaliate, but I have also decided that once this thing clears I will be moving on anyway. I can't work for a company who decided to risk my life and other people's lives for a bottom line. A lot of these companies will be held accountable once the dust has settled. Politicians as well. They goddamn better be. I manage a grocery store. This pandemic has ruined my faith in humanity and broken my heart at the same time. I have seen a side of people that I never want to see again. Ugly, vicious, self-centered, fend for yourself attitude. I desperately just want every customer to be well stocked and ready. I want myself and my employees to be safe and not verbally and or physically abused. I want myself and my employees to feel well rested again. And I don't want to see fear, sadness in people's eyes when they need something and either don't have the money for it, it's out of stock, or they're just scared for their future. Just my career and social life NBD. I had my first trip to Italy booked and it was going to be the trip of a lifetime and now it's cancelled. Venice? Yeah, I'm traveling all round. Meeting my great-grandmother for the first time. It was my first time leaving my country and the trip was a limited offer. I'm Italian and was supposed to be going back as I have a house there. My tickets got refunded into a form of vouchers to spend on tickets up to a year later, so check with the airline as there might be something like that you can do in order to still have your trip. Senior year. For my little sister is the same. Classes are exclusively online and of course graduation party is cancelled. She feels like her high school life just ended without any warning or time to say goodbye and she's really sad. Frown. I'm sorry you're going through the same experience, dude. It sucks balls. My school just cancelled everything without online classes. I have no idea if I'm gonna graduate on time. Oh god, that really sucks. We already knew the drill regarding emergency school cancellation because of the fact that we have school issues Chromebooks and a long hurricane season, but I can't imagine what it's like for district states that don't have that.